Good morning to you, Kujo.
Hello, good morning.
What's
nice to see you.
Nice to. How was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. My
great.
little sister had a baby girl.
Yeah, your little.
And we're all
you mean your
excited.
Younger sister?
Yes, my little. She's still my little sister.
She's still little.
She's 6 years younger than me, so I can't help but refer to her as a little sister. Kakrawu. I'm 11 years younger than my older sister.
Okay.
My parents do a lot of sitting around doing nothing, I guess. Yeah.
Well, so I have some dedications. So let me just quickly, as we get on with the issues. Valerie Ama Nchiwa Ampong of Pearl Valley School in Kumasi. You're 2 years today, and it's from your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ampong, obviously. We also have this one from... happy birthday to Samuel Kujoedu, and it's from your wife Abigail and your daughters Kukwa and Ira and Kukwa, all of you. You're saying we all love Daddy so much, and they thank God for your life and for the grace and wisdom bestowed on you. All of you have a blessed happy birthday. Okay.
Nice when Daddy gets celebrated.
Yeah.
For a change.
To the older brother, welcoming a new niece.
That's me. Me. Yes, a Rama landed on Saturday night, and we're all very excited. Yeah. Very, very excited. So congratulations to the new parents, Francis Insia and Jennifer. Mixing my sister's names. Dr. Jean Youngson Insia. Congratulations to you both. Right, shall we
let's quickly just get it on.
Right, I have three here: the Business and Financial Times, the Daily Graphic, and the Ghanaian Times. I'll start with the Business and Financial Times. Investors express interest in Central Western Airport. Kofi Adda, the new minister for, newish minister for aviation, announced this. Central Western, so the airport will be somewhere between the two regions. I thought there was already an airport in the Western region. Well, maybe an airport is something too big for the Central region to have to itself. Panic withdrawals, finance houses call for calm. This is important. We ought to talk about it. We will, I think. Melbourne Old Staff Association inaugurated, and Veep announces digitization of lands sale as he inaugurates 335 Place. All right. Okay. I have the Daily Graphic as well. Front page, life amidst risk is the big story. Banner headline, storm drains remain uncovered, and there are pictures from Adabraka where the storm drains are uncovered and children are walking around trying to avoid falling into storm drains. Stop fueling Okuapeman chieftaincy crisis. That's what Otubo Jankwesi is saying. But before we get back into the headlines, we're able to go now directly to Adenta, where certain leaders are making some pronouncements as the peaceful march begins. Let's very quickly go across. I can see one of the residents making a speech now.
Munya butre eti boko ago obienim de teye wa ha no pawe obienim de ye wa ha no pawe Ago! Mokasa. Sabe obia nipe wu ha. Enye eni bruso na enya de aba abonte. Yani mre say ye bedi samone ana meboa. Ye bedi samone. Yendi samone da. Ana sepeni di wanim na sa wantie no a sabe wo ye obakwasea meboa. Enutino. No, it's true. Yes, you will talk. You will talk. Enutino. Enutino.
Honorable. Hello. Doctor Wunta. This is a community.
Jacob Osaya, independent presidential candidate.
Okay, talk to us.
I go.
But you have to let us know
Yes, I know. Don't say that I don't know. I've been here for quite. Hey, Choboy. Hey.
I'll go. That means Kirker House there. Go school here, sure.
So we're here at the West Africa Senior High School, right in front of the West Africa Senior High School. What's happening here appears to be a sort of disagreement as to whether to walk from here to Medina or to do from here to Race Junction. What we understand is that officials, or I think the police officers, want the walk to be from here to Race Junction. But the agitated people here do not seem to agree. We're going to follow them to find out what is it they're going to do, what will be their final plan. The leaders have been trying to calm them and trying to urge them to adhere to the plans that the police officers are proposing, that is to walk from here to Race Junction. But they do not want that. They want to walk from here to Medina. Let's follow them and find out what's happening.
Now can't go be fit ya.
Right, we're going to take you back to the scenes from the Medina Adenta Highway where the protest is gathering steam. We'll bring you correspondence from there as well so that we have a clearer understanding of what's happening. But we've just seen images of some of the leaders rallying the group together to start the demonstration. You can see something that looks at first estimate to be at least 100 people coming together to start this peace march, as they describe it, in protest of the incomplete footbridges along the Medina Adenta Highway. Now, the leaders were, rallying the members, explaining to them that today's demonstration is not for misbehavior, There appears to be some restrictions being communicated to them, and some of the chanting members of the group seem to be protesting or objecting to those restrictions, chanting that they will indeed head towards Medina. I believe they are at Adenta as we speak, at the scene of the last death, the most recent death, young Mariam, 18-year-old WAS student who was knocked down last week. So we'll keep you abreast. We'll take you back to the scene for even more. Stay with us. But right now, it appears that the spirit of protest is gathering steam in Adenta.
Morning.
Right, okay, well, let's quickly get back into the newspapers. Don't worry, we will take you back to Adenta when activity resumes there. But right now, though, on the front page of the Daily Graphic, here are the headlines. Life amidst risk, storm drains remain uncovered. Shocking picture there of children trying to make their way around the narrow earth that is covered around a storm drain hatch. And it's something that really ought to be covered up, but it isn't. Stop fueling Okuapeman chieftaincy crisis, Otubo Jankwesi calls. And on the back page, some sports stories. Black Queens pip South Africa, and Inter-Allies spoil Hearts anniversary party. There's also a press release from the leadership of the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers, NASAWAP. I just love that abbreviation there. I'll do one more. The Ghanaian Times. 2 more varsities in the offing. That's a story attributed to the president. Government to launch infrastructure fixing working plan, and 4 die in horrific accident. Also, Queens beats South Africa in final brush-up. That's on the back page. And First Lady inaugurates chips compound for Sidiase. There we go.
All right, so let's look at the Dispatch newspaper. And we have the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper having the lead story. Influence peddlers are busy. Akufo-Addo's reshuffle coming. But Selma Al-Hassan launches 3 books. We have Michelle reveals the biggest secrets of the Obamas. We also have population size and composition in Greater Accra, the Ashanti, Central and Eastern regions. And those are the stories we have. Let's look at the Daily Guide newspaper. Daily Guide dominates with Nana Jobs Mahama. I want to respond to NDC aspirants, create 2 new universities. And we have Rollins reacts to story.
I'm sorry. Did the Daily Guide say the president created 2 new universities?
Yeah. Charlotte Osei fined 8,000 Ghana cedis, 6 contractors storm Adenta Road, and ex-auditor general chases mosquito. Okay. Now let's look at before we go subsequently to the others. But on the center spread of the Daily Guide newspaper is a news one pull out. Gabrielle Union, you know that actress, prominent Black American actress, took to Instagram on Thursday to announce with her husband that they have a new baby girl. Yeah,
they went via surrogacy to have the adorable little daughter.
Okay. All right, so we have don't build movie theaters. Fred Nyama to government. Sister Debbie joins top trends with Kakalika Love. So she has a new music out. So that's how it goes. But let's look at the final newspaper. Free SHS. It's the turn of the gold track, and in all, those admitted for this cohort are in the numbers of some 196,000 who are the second batch of the first year student. They started classes today.
Yeah. And by the way, Mariam, who passed away, was part of the Green Track. She had just completed her first term, and sadly.
Wow. Brighter future ahead, President. Widespread discontent in NACOP. Okay. And so we have a number of stories there. Front page. Nana asks ambitious MMDCs to resign. Those are the stories we have. Huh? You want to?
Yeah,
take a
sure.
look at
Let me do the Daily Statesman really quickly. No more turf wars. Kufuor bangs MPs and DCE's heads together. Duncan Williams descends on critics of National Cathedral. And Medina Adenta death trap fixes begin. Yeah, well, to begin perhaps would have been more accurate. 196,000 enroll for free SHS Gold Track. And it's interesting that two newspapers this morning reporting on the Gold Track have used the photograph of the public relations officer of the Education Ministry, not the minister or deputies, but the public relations officer.
Maybe,
I wonder what...
maybe he spoke to the story, or maybe he's the one source for the story.
You know how newspapers, even when they speak to someone else, will put the responsible
sector minister,
yes,
or the personality,
yes, or the IGP, or for a story of someone stealing a goat.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. So this is
something even that happened remotely within the police service, away from the headquarters, but they'll still put the IGP.
So this is unusual by newspaper standards. Right.
Especially tabloids.
Yes, so Duncan Williams descends on critics of National Cathedral. I guess that means the Archbishop has descended on me, because I am a critic of the National Cathedral plan. Not that I think there should not be a National Cathedral, no. And it's a beautiful design that Sir David Ajay has done. I'm just a critic of how government is going about it. Yeah.
I think you have a peculiar issue with why that land, why that area in the first place?
Yes.
Because within the purpose of city planning, it doesn't look
it's not the wisest choice.
Yes.
That's one of my problems. There are others. I also don't understand the government's role in it. I don't get why government feels that.
Well, government is only facilitating land acquisition.
It's a role I don't understand, and that is not the only thing they are doing. Government proposed the idea. Government brought together the churches to do it. Government is leading it. Government is spending money to clear the land.
Pulling the resources from the churches to build it.
Spending money to clear the land and compensate those who will lose property. Okay, government is spending money on all of these things. And the president says it's a priority among priorities. I think that perhaps is my biggest problem with it. Yes, if government can afford such a thing...
It doesn't mean you're opposed to it.
Yeah, it means I'm opposed to how they're doing it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you're not opposed to those putting
the concept of having a cathedral? No, not at all.
So you're not. So you're not among.
I'm not opposed to the concept of having
those targeted by the Archbishop, Papa.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what his dissent came in the form of, but I am a critic of the National Cathedral.
In a way.
Yeah. All right. Are we done
yes,
with the headlines?
We're done. At least basically the top newspapers.
Okay, then. So let's have a look at this story in the Business and Financial Times. Panic withdrawals, finance houses call for calm. I'll read a little bit of it. Finance houses have assured clients that even though some members are faced with unwarranted panic withdrawals, most members are in good standing and operating without any problems. Okay. Now, I want to get straight to the point on this one. There's a regulator for the banking sector. It's called the Bank of Ghana. We all know what the Bank of Ghana can do. So far, 7 banks have lost their licenses for reasons that the Bank of Ghana identify as unlawful, activities and breaching. Oh, by the way, while we're talking, you can also see some live visuals of the protest which is happening at Adenta right now. They are about to begin their peaceful march in protest of the uncompleted footbridges. So, Bank of Ghana, a powerful regulator that has already shut down 7 banks. But a regulator has several rules, and penalizing non-compliance is one of those rules. Promoting the sector that they regulate is another rule, an important rule. Assisting those who operate in that sector to do a good job is another rule. Avoiding the collapse of that sector perhaps would be the most important rule. And I wonder how the Bank of Ghana marks itself in its performance of these other rules. Because we all see what is happening. People are concerned, people are afraid that their money is not safe. They are afraid of this because of actions that the regulator has taken. Now, the regulator will argue that they had no choice but to take those actions. But then what else do you do once you take such an inevitable action and you know the effect it will have on the industry that you are supposed to protect? What do? Do you leave it to all come crumbling down? Why have we not heard the Bank of Ghana come out to tell us about those institutions that people are panic withdrawing from, which they shouldn't? Why are we not hearing from the Bank of Ghana that, look, this institution is fine. It has met all of its requirements, or it is meeting all of its requirements. It is, in terms of regulation, it is in the black. It is doing the right things, so your money is safe there. Why are they not stopping panic withdrawals? Why are they doing nothing to stop panic withdrawals?
It looks like the position that is not only coming from you, but those across the financial sector and also those who are observing, is that it doesn't look like the Bank of Ghana, which is the regulator that started this whole thing of liquidation or looking at whether the enforcement of its own regulations are in place, is not leading the charge on the other side to make sure that, okay, but that's true.
Yeah, and it leads to the feeding of certain conspiracy theories. You know, it makes people feel like, you know what, Bank of Ghana is just generally inept, except that somebody made them take action in these 7 cases. Yeah. That somebody, somewhere, some puppet master made the Bank of Ghana dissolve these banks because they on their own are just so palpably incompetent. They are unable to regulate the industry to any degree of success. Because apart from closing down these banks, what else have they done? What else? They haven't been able to identify those who work there who contributed to the illegality that led to the closing down of these banks. We haven't heard a word about those people, but we've heard that they are going to prosecute the private operators of the banks.
The shareholders, you mean?
The operators, yes, shareholders, thank you. Okay, so what exactly, apart from shutting down these banks, can anybody point me to one thing that the Bank of Ghana has done well? One thing.
I am one of those who feel that the Bank of Ghana, even though was enforcing its own regulations, I feel that the way they went about it was not the right way.
So even that they didn't do well.
Yeah, because you know.
All right. Well, you know, we can go straight across to Adenta now. We'll come back to the newspapers. But Gifty has a bit more about what's going on now. Let's join her.
This exercise to end at the race junction, but the leadership of the group tried to sell this idea to the people, and they did not agree. They threw it right out of the window. What they kept insisting was that they are walking from here all the way to Medina. Well, it was some sort of exchanges at the beginning, but it looks like finally they've agreed to walk from here to somewhere. That somewhere is what I'm about to find now. One of the organizers of the walk is Selom Branche. He joins me now. Selom, let me find out from you. Initially, there were a lot of disagreements as to whether or not you should walk from here to Race Junction or you should walk from here to Medina.
Well, it's still a rolling thing because of security and because today is Monday morning. We do not want to disrupt normal commuters going to town because this is for all of us, our well-being. Because of that, we would have to make sure that everything that is done in a decorous manner, is done in a manner that respects the rule of law, as well as even the pedestrians that we are doing this march for. So we are planning it in such a way that we are going on and on with the police, and we are talking with them as we are going on to ensure full cooperation. So wherever it will end at, it will be something that is a matter of compromise between us and the security forces to ensure that there is safety and then everything that's going on is going on well.
But did you agree on a particular place to end this walk? Is it Race Junction or is it Medina?
Initially, it was supposed to be Medina, but due to quite a lot of security concerns coming from last week Thursday's, spontaneous riots, we have decided that we'll have to do this in a way and manner that makes it easy for the police to be able to monitor everything and make sure that no miscreants come and infiltrate and cause any confusion. That is why we are managing it.
Talking about infiltration, I've seen sharp divisions among the people way back there, or even when the leaders spoke to the people, they appeared not to be listening. They appeared to want to have their way. To what extent is this group organized and disciplined?
Well, we are as organized as you can see in unity. In every human institution, there are disagreements. But at the end of the day, it is because of concerns of safety of everybody who is coming for this march. That is what caused the split and the disagreement. But now we are united with one voice, and we are doing this march for the people of Adenta, for the people of Medina, for the people that have died on this road, and for the safety of the future.
You said earlier on, of course, there were also disagreement as to whether the walk should come off in the first place. One of your members said they've called it off, and you insisted it was coming off. What is that? You also said that you suspect that government has infiltrated the group.
It will be very premature to make such an allegation right now. After this, we are all going to meet, have a post-mortem, and then look at the positives and negatives of what we did and the best way forward.
Is this the number you were expecting, or were you expecting something bigger?
This number is good. I'm sure that had it not been for the miscommunication, there would have been much more people here. But there is still that solidarity, that unity. I am very pleased and I'm very happy for the level of enthusiasm that I've had from the youth of Adenta.
Salom, thank you very much, and we will be talking to you intermittently as we go along. Now, Salom Brandt here, he's one of the leaders of this group. Earlier on, like I was asking him, there were confusions as to whether or not this walk will come off in the first place. Well, it has come off, and you can see the people right there. There were also confusions as to how far they should go. Should they end somewhere at Race Junction or at Medina? We don't know where we're going at the moment. It could be Medina, it could be Race Junction, but we understand we're going to Nadat. Okay, so whose idea is this? Is it from the police?
We agreed with the police, and they...
And tell us your name and who you are in the group.
I'm Dr. Samuel Kojokofi. We had originally cancelled it, but the will of the people is bigger than our will.
So you were the ones that wanted to cancel it. Why did you want to?
Organizers.
Right. Why did you want to suspend it in the first place?
Because we realized that the government more or less has started fixing the pedestrian issues. The traffic lights are being repaired, the street lights are working, the pedestrian markings are being done, and we didn't want to renege on our 12. But this morning, we realized that the will of the people is bigger, far bigger than the will of the few of us. When the people decide, there's nothing the leaders can now do. So we are expecting that it will be peaceful, it will be non-violent. We are grateful to the police for all the assistance and support they have given us. They've done a wonderful job in containing all of us. And we call on all Ghanaians that in as much as we had called it off earlier on, the will of the people of this country is bigger than the will of few people. So that is it. Yeah. So
the will of the people has prevailed over the expectations that you had previously. But where do you say you are going again?
We are going to the.
Hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. All right. So we're still making the walk. Some people trying to block some people from talking, but obviously they don't have that right. Let's see how this goes. What is your name?
Yeah. My name is...
I'll hold it for you. It's okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is KK.
KK, who are you in the group?
I'm one of the planning committee members.
Where do you want to go?
We are walking down to Atomic Junction and return.
Okay, KK tells me here that they are walking to Atomic Junction. Let me find out from this gentleman. What's your name and who are you in the group?
I'm Nana Puma. I'm the leader of the planning committee.
Nana Puma, where are you going now?
Right now we are moving to Adenta SDA Kenke House Junction. Then we will go to Nadat School Park, and then we will assemble there.
So they're going to Adenta SDA Park, and they're going to assemble at Nadat Park. Is that different from what? Is that different from what the police wanted you to do?
Exactly what the police want us to do. We agreed with them on that. We agreed with them. Initially we were going to Medina. Security concerns were raised. We brought it to Reese. Then now we have agreed with the police that we get to KK House Junction, then we go to Nadat School Park, and then we will assemble there.
Some of the people, as you can hear, this gentleman here is not happy about going to Adenta. He wants to go to Atomic Junction. How are you going to manage this expectation of the people?
That's why we have to show leadership. That's why we have to show leadership. So leadership has decided and have agreed with the police that we are going to SDA School, Nadat School Park, and that's where we are going.
Okay. Let me talk to this lady here. Namiche, let me talk to you, Namiche. Who are you in the group? Tell us your full name and who you are in the group.
I'm Namiche Edustafo. I'm part of the planning committee. Excuse me, I've lost my voice a little bit.
So initially you tried to block our cameras from capturing somebody. Why?
Honestly speaking, we've gone through a lot to let this happen. So whatsoever, at the end of the day, we'll sort it.
Why did you try to block my camera?
I said we'll sort that indoors.
Okay, so Namiche says he's a member of the planning committee. Find out from her why she tried to block my camera, why she tried to block an interview with somebody. She's obviously not ready to answer that, but I'm sure she understands at this moment that she doesn't have the right to stop me from doing my work. So as you can see, we're walking. Some say we're going to Atomic Junction, some say we're going to Medina, some say we're going to Adenta. We will find out. Well, they say we're going to SDA Junction. Let's find out how this is going to all end. In the meantime, here are the people in the background.
Wow, well, it appears that this thing is seriously underway now.
And it looks like as the more they move, then people are joining alongside. So they're massing up, they're getting the numbers.
It's growing fast, and we'll keep an eye on it and make sure that you are fully briefed on it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're told that we'll have to take a break for sports.
Yeah.
We'll bring you the latest sports headline. Stay with us. You're still watching the AM show.